Hello fellow Star citizens, it's Starus here again. I was inspired recently by a video by CptFoxyLoxy. Amazing channel by the way, you guys should go and check him out. Certainly much better than mine. But he does a lot of videos, in a series called Science and Fun, and where he explores different aspects of the game in a humorous and cheeky way. I love it. So he recently did a video, linked above, about the emission detections range of the Sabre medium fighters. Basically, he tried to check at what distance could the Sabres loaded with various components, various types of components, whether they are civilian, military, industrial or stealth, when they can be detected. And he had a surprising conclusion that the stealth components actually didn't help with the detection range very much, and in his testing it was the civilian components that had the best stealth performance, in the sense that they were detected the latest, and it was also the hardest for it to be targeted on. So I thought I'd try a variation of this with the Aegis Eclipse stealth bomber. And one reason why I thought this would be a more useful ship to test with is because many of us use the Eclipse stealth bombers to do bombing runs. We sneak up to a HRT or or VHRT or even an ERT, and we unleash our torpedoes from a certain distance away. Right now in the game, the NPCs do not react to incoming torpedoes, so you can fire by as much as maybe about 15 clicks out, before they are actually alerted to your presence. But we still choose. The Eclipse stealth bomber has a stealth bonus of, I think it was 30%, which all its various emissions numbers are actually reduced by 30%. The thing about that is it enables us to get fairly up close to a battle before we unleash torpedoes. In fact, I think most of us actually get down to under 5, maybe even 4 kilometers before we release the torpedoes. This is to ensure a high percentage of hit and less opportunity for the torpedoes to be intercepted by enemy gunfire. But a little bit first about emissions. So there are actually 3 types of emissions in Star Citizen. On the top of my HUD, there are actually 3 markings. One for IR, which is on the leftmost, followed by cross-section and electromagnetic emissions, which is indicated by the lightning bolt icon here. Don't worry if you don't see these numbers. Just click on Options, Game Settings, scroll all the way down until you see the option for Emissions HUD, shows Display Signature Values. Change it from the default No to Yes. So the IR reading for this current ship, the Enview Hawk, actually reads at 6875, and the icon is actually demarcated by the wavy signs, wavy squirrely signs. So this means that at the current stage, my ship is actually emitting 6875 of IR, and the middle value is with the kind of like a chevron with something in the middle. That states 10,000 is cross-section. This is the signature my ship provides at the cross-section level. And in my little experiments, I actually found that this figure actually does matter to a certain extent. Of course, the last number is actually the one that says that's 8915 or 14 now and dropping. That's my electromagnetic emissions number. And you find that this number is affected by certain things. For example, if I were to power down my lasers,
weapons offline,
the number starts to drop drastically. If I power on my shields,
engines,
oh sorry, that was engines, it drops even more. Of course, it's natural. Although I must say that I would have thought that engines are determined by
shields offline,
shields down now. So my signatures are barely in hundreds right now and dropping. So this is a way I can reduce my electromagnetic signature. There are implications of this later, but let's just focus more on detectability. Because dropping these signatures does affect certain types of missiles' ability to lock onto you, and that's the reason why there are actually different types of corresponding missiles that work on different types of targeting systems that, to sort of lock and hit you. So this is essentially a 101 on the emissions. Alright, so let's take a look at the 4 different sabers that I have loaded out here. And let's start with Sabre number 1. Yeah, so Sabre number 1 loaded with the ambush camo livery paint, which we will call it greeny. nicknamed Greenie for short, is the industrial variant. Do note that I've equipped it with all size 1 grade A industrial components. So this is the loadout that I've given. There are some, I don't think there is a size 1 industrial grade A quantum drive, so I picked a grade B version instead, but everything else is grade A. And Eclipse number 2 will be equipped with the Eclipse knockout library. Actually, I think this is a more suitable greenie, but we'll work things out, or maybe we'll just call each Eclipse by what they're equipped with. And this is the military version of green for camouflage paint, so everything is grade A military equipment, size 1 component, including the quantum drive and the shield generators. And then Eclipse number 3 is the one, the BIS paint. I believe this is equipped with all stealth equipment, so this is all size 1 grade A stealth components, including the quantum drive, the power plants, and the shield generators. They are all grade A size 1 stealth components. And lastly, we have Eclipse number 4, which, because there's no 4th paint version for this that I know of, it's in the standard default colors, and this is the one that's equipped with civilian equipment. So do note that in CptFoxyLoxy's video, he did find that for the sabers, the civilian components did the best. We shall see if it makes a difference here for the Eclipse. These are the 4 test Eclipses, and now onwards with the tests. So here are the 4 test Eclipses: white with stealth components, the black with civilian, the grey with industrial, and the green with military components, all of which are grade A. Big shout out and thanks to my Star Denizens buddies, Regig and Mando Merch, who took the time to help with this experiment. And we're doing our tests a little bit differently this time round, now that we actually have 4 human players. So what I did was, I stood in a central location in a Pisces, and it was the Pisces that tried to detect the different eclipses, and here we decided to maintain the same flight level so as to reduce environment variability, and the flight level was about 1000 meters or 1 kilometer off the ground. What we'll do is that each eclipse will head off from 270 degrees away from my location, which, to make it easier for them, was incidentally towards the setting sun, which I didn't know always sets at 270 degrees all west, regardless of which planet of moon it was. Anyway, so all our eclipses will head to about 15 kilometers away from the Pisces and start moving back, and then I will start checking with pings to see when I can detect them with a ping, and the second stage will be when I can actually detect them with the radar and actually lock onto them. So there are 2 matrices here, a ping matrix and a radar lock matrix. And I'm able to ping you. You fly towards me at SCM speed.
MCM speed.
Yeah. Because the way I'm seeing your location now is through my ownership marker and the party marker. 10.5, 10.4, 10/3, still not detecting. You know, when I send a ping, right, my EM and IR don't even increase. This is broken. 9.6, 9.5, still no detection. .0, no detection. This is military variant, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's in the military. I think mine is the
6.
civilian, right?
8.5, 8.4.
You're recording it?
Yep. Okay, I see a box marker at 8.8 kilometers. 8 kilometers, I get a target marker from pings.
But you still don't have a radar.
Don't have radar lock. Nothing on ping, but not in 5 actually. 5.7.
You can also see this.
Yeah, 3 and that's one just 4.8 and 3 1 spot. So check 5.
Yeah, the 4 feet.
Okay. If you come back again, I can lock you at oh no, it wasn't you. It was Mando.
Somebody.
Okay, Mando.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, log on to you at 4.0. But 4.1 to be safe. Okay, so lockable range for Eclipse military variant is 4.1 kilometers.
Yeah.
Right, you can come back now. I think that's it. Mando, you head out. Okay, 9 clicks, no ping. 8.7, 8.5, no ping. Mando, you're at SCM speed, right?
Yep.
Okay.
In fact, I'm slower than that.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay, I pinged you at 7.2. No, 8.2. You started to show as a box. 8.2, huh?
Yep. But you cannot lock, right?
No lock yet. You're 6.5, 5.9.
I'm at 6.
Lock. No, that was the Eclipse below. 4.8. Okay, I locked you 4.2.
Okay.
4.2 lock.
So it's close to the military lah.
9.9 clicks out, no pings.
Going SCM. Flight level decreasing. Compensating. On capture. Going 100.
Okay, it's okay.
8.1 ping. 8.1 you ping.
Nope. Server not registering, right?
Locked. 4.3.
There you go.
4.2 lah.
Oh,
4.2, 4.3 yeah.
Coming back.
Still okay. Yeah. This is industrial variant.
Oh, okay.
I can't imagine why anyone would put industrial gear into an Eclipse, but
For science.
Industrial clear has higher power.
yeah.
Yeah, but the least stealthy, right?
Well, I was about to look at the Eclipse bonus.
My I think it's about 900. No, I think it's around 105. Okay, go check, yeah.
Okay, ping the 8.17, 8.2. Ping the 8.2.
Okay.
You know, Ray, I'm beginning to think that there's no bloody difference no matter what gear you put.
The difference is subtle, I think. There is difference of 1-200 meter.
Yeah.
Okay, lock that 4.0. Can you go back again, Mando?
Okay. Okay.
I think it was 4.0, but let me confirm that again. I'll see
Yeah,
when
when I
lose
heard the
lock.
audit. Okay.
When you hear?
I heard it about 4.
4. Okay, never mind. Just come back. It's also 4 on my side. It's okay, it's okay. I think that's about right. Yeah. Hey, 5.2, I locked on you. I locked on you at 4.5. I got a theory. Mando, can you point your ship to 0 degree?
0.
Yep. I'm locking onto you at 5.2.
Because I'm moving.
Because you're sideways. You're turning 0 now. Your right side is facing me. I can lock onto you.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I think Ray, we discovered something else. The cross section. This is cross section in effect.
Yep.
Yeah. Probably your lowest cross section is when you're heading towards me.
Yep.
Probably it's designed that way.
Okay.
So
Turn to 90 again. See whether I lose track. Okay. Well, okay, I lost track of you. See? When you turn to 90 degrees, I lost track of you.
Makes sense because it's always going towards the enemy.
Yep. So you can close the distance again. I need a coffee. The results of our tests are basically inconclusive. The only thing that worked as expected was actually cross-section, which you can't do anything about, as it is a function of your ship's size and shape. The type of component you have in your ship doesn't really matter. What you see here right now is a spectrum post on how emissions are supposed to work. Essentially, as explained by CIG's Mark Eben, the range that you can be detected will depend on the difference. In other words, so take for example, you saw in the Hawk, it had a 6875 IR figure. If it is flying or fighting in, say, around the Sun or Stanton, or near a very warm planet, there is a chance that the ambient IR is actually higher than the emissions level of your ship. Then your ship will be masked. And the range where you can be seen by other ships will be the difference between the ambient emission level as well as the emission level of your ship of either IR and EM respectively. What's more interesting is a reply from a player, Tewas, about a year and a half ago. And he basically said that a lot of what CIG intended to be working as far as emissions and stealth are concerned are simply not working. And Mark Eben's reply basically confirms this. This will go a long way to explain why the test had actually surprised us. I've been a backer of Star Citizen since 2014. I remember a point in time when Arena Commander was first introduced, we actually had to pay attention to emissions because the ability for you to sneak up on an opponent and have the first shot was really important. This seems to be broken. If one searches around the various forums and Reddit, it appears that this was broken since maybe 3.5 or more recently 3.15. I do hope that CIG brings back this important aspect of gameplay into the game. Stealth and emissions management is important. This has been one of the hardest videos for me to produce. I had to travel all over Stanton to pick up the Grade A components of various types. And I had stupidly spent AUEC to buy 3 other Eclipses where I could have just given the money to my teammates for them to get one for themselves. It took over 3 days to film this video because of the incessant 30Ks and the 16,005 login issues. On the night of the test, I had to wait 1.5 hours before I could log in, and Mando had to wait for 2.5 hours before he could log in. That's the reason why Regig sounded really tired when we did the test. But I do hope that the test has been useful and my attempt at explaining stealth and emissions was helpful too. And if you do, please like and subscribe. This is Starus, signing out. See you in the verse. Goodbye.